On Wednesday night, the Reds knocked the Seagulls out of the Carabao Cup. Now fast forward 3 days and it's round 2 this afternoon. Anfield is playing host as Liverpool take on Brighton in the Premier League. It is a nice traditional 3 o'clock kickoff this Saturday afternoon. That is when we will be bringing you live audio commentary of all the action from here at Anfield. Yeah, full commentary to come. In the meantime, here on Matchday Live, we've got all the build-up you need. Joining me to do just that, I am delighted to have former Reds Ray Houghton and Martin Kelly. A lot to come from them in just a moment. First, though, we do have the Liverpool starting 11 for this afternoon's Premier League game against Brighton. This is who Arne Slot has chosen for this afternoon's game. It's 3 changes from the last Premier League game last Sunday against Arsenal at the Emirates. Of course, in come Kostas Tsimikas, Dominic Szoboszlai and Cody Gakpo. So the team in full. It's Kevin Kelleher, Virgil van Dijk, Ibou Konate, Dominic Szoboszlai, Darwin Núñez, Alexis McAllister, Mohamed Salah, Cody Gakpo, Kostas Tsimikas, Ryan Gravenberch and Trent Alexander-Arnold make up that starting 11. On the bench for the Reds today, Vítězslav Jaros, fresh from making his full debut in midweek in that Carabao Cup game. Joe Gomez, Endo, Luis Diaz, Curtis Jones, Andy Robertson drops to the bench after captaining the side on Wednesday night. Jarell Quansah, Tyler Morton and Connor Bradley. Let's get the thoughts of Ray and Martin on that team. Firstly, we'll start with that left-back position. There's been a lot of talk about it in recent weeks, but I think obviously Andy Robertson played the full 90 and a few minutes more on Wednesday night, captained the side, so the boss sees this as an opportunity to give him a few minutes back in the tank.
Great position to be in for the manager, isn't it? Not only in the left-back position, I think in numerous positions. You know, he's got such an array of talent. And he's got like-for-like players, so he knows if one misses out, the one that's coming in, he's of a good enough standard that he'll go out there and play to the best of his ability. And I've got to say, watching Liverpool in the last few weeks, I've really enjoyed it. I think the level of play, the way that they're closing down, everyone's enjoying each other's company. You can see there's a real camaraderie amongst the players. Results have gone very well. Arna's there at the moment. I think this Premier League's not very tough, is it? Because it's just gone so well for him. But it's been fabulous. And not only saying that, Becky, I was here when we lost against Nottingham Forest, and I've got to say the response from the manager and the players has been excellent. You know, that's what you want. You want a real response to get back on there, to get back to winning ways and showing everyone in the league what you're about and what you're trying to achieve this season. Yeah, they've obviously won all but one of their games since that Forest game, Martin. Just on today's team, is that the lineup you were expecting? We were speaking off-air beforehand and you thought Kostas might come in today.
Yeah, I thought Kostas, the way he sort of changed the game along with the other two on up at Arsenal last weekend. So it was a great result midweek to get through to that, quarter-final stage of the Carabao Cup. And like Ray said, it's been a joy to watch Liverpool the past few weeks. From the start of the season, we started like an house on fire, out with new manager, a new injection of enthusiasm here at Liverpool, and I think we're excited to see this home game off the back of real call it a solid performance. Brighton got two goals at midweek, but I think up until it was a solid performance for me. A lot of changes, a lot of lads will get a lot of benefit from that game. I think the lads who haven't played since the last round of the Carabao Cup have came in and all done really well.
Let's speak about the defence, because on Ibou Konate actually sets a personal best for him today. 9 league games in a row that he will have started this afternoon. So that is something he's never done before for Liverpool, Ibou Konate.
Well, and he deserves it.
Well, he was outstanding against Arsenal, wasn't he?
Look, he deserves it. I mean, this is not by luck. I mean, it's because he's of his level of consistency game after game. And he's got this strength, upper body strength. He reads the game very well. He's in good covering position, and he's got electric pace. Martin will tell he's an ex-centre half, as a centre half himself, should I say. Positionally where you should be, but there's times when the ball goes over your head, you've got to be quick enough to get yourself out of a difficult situation. And he's done this time and time again. It's as if, they've been left out against Ipswich, first game of the season, sitting on the bench. The switch went on when he got on for the start of the second half, and since then he's been, I think, one of our most consistent performers. I think he's been top class. Even with Virgil and the other boys in the back four, I think he's the one that I've been looking at that stood out. His game has gone on to a real different level to me performing for what I've seen from last season to what he's done this season so far.
I mean, playing alongside Virgil van Dijk brings out the best in every player, I think. But we saw the highlights there of the Arsenal game. Obviously, Gabriel and Saliba are kind of seen as the pinnacle, I think, in the Premier League in terms of centre-back pairings. But surely Ibu and Virg deserve to be in that conversation as well if they keep up this form.
Yeah, I think the Arsenal two will be looking at the Liverpool two, going, wow, these two are good. Make no bones about it. Virgil's one of the best centre halves in the world. So Ibu only playing alongside him and now getting a consistent run of games alongside him, that as a defender you do want to create that partnership with your other centre half counterpart. So he started off, like Ray said, coming on in the Ipswich game at half time and kept his place. He's gone from strength to strength. You can see in his interviews post games the confidence he's got, and he backs himself. I think this is his season where we'll see, him step up to be that world-class centre half that we're all expecting his potential to be.
There's times when you learn more about a player, and I learned more about Canati when I came here for the game against Las Palmas, because it was behind closed doors. I went and sat behind the bench, and I wanted to hear what the players were like on the bench, not just the manager and what his instructions were to the players as well, but I wanted to hear who were the voices on the pitch, because the ones you think they aren't always the ones.
Yeah.
And Canati was the one, and I was shocked. I sat back and I thought he was really quiet, but there he was, encouraging, getting players into positions. You get back here, you do this, and that really impressed me. I'm thinking, if you can play as well as you can, but also have that advantage of organising as well, you're going to raise your game. And I'm not surprised to see what he's doing what he's doing, because everything was in place. He just needed that run again. Stay fit, manager picking you, and then it's up to you to go and produce your best football, and he's certainly doing that.
Yeah, he's a big personality in the dressing room, Ibu Konate, isn't he? Definitely. A word for Mo Salah up front. No surprise that Mo Salah starts again this afternoon, but a good stat for you on him. 6 goals, 5 assists for Mo Salah so far this season. That means he's been involved in 65% of Liverpool's Premier League goals this season. So to put that into context, that is the highest ratio of any player in the Premier League at the moment, just to underline how important he is.
It's normally 65%. That's the goals that he scored.
Yeah.
Never mind the assists. But his all-round game is there. Listen, he might not be as quick as he once was over the ground, but the brain never stops functioning. Positionally he knows where to go, and when he's in a certain area, if a chance is going to fall to one player, I want it to fall to Mo Salah above all the other strikers. And the other strikers are in good form as well, don't get me wrong, but there's a coolness about Mo when he goes through. He's never flustered. He predominantly makes the right decisions. Yeah, there'll be occasions when he doesn't finish it off in the manner he would like, but you just know he's your go-to player. He's got that quality, as we see there with the penalty kick. Never looked like missing it, and he's just been in fantastic form. His all-round game, awareness, vision, picking players out, he's really added to it, and you can see that. I can sense it when the players are playing. They know that they can run into the areas because he's going to give them the ball. Maybe a couple of seasons ago that wasn't the case, Becky. Maybe he was a little bit more about himself and the goals that he's going to score. I think in the last 18 months he's really changed. I think he's become an all-round player now. He's a real team player, not just about him scoring goals, it's about creating goals as well.
I suppose the only concern, if you can call it a concern, is are Liverpool too reliant on him, bearing in mind, of course, we have the issue of AFCON. He goes away at the end of December till the end of January, possibly, depending on how far Egypt progress. And at the moment, only Luis Diaz is close to him in terms of goals in the Premier League, at least.
Yeah, look, he's the star man for this Liverpool side. When you take him out of it, there will be differences in XGs and stuff like that, but I think the lads around him have got the talent to sort of step in when he does go. I think, touching on Ray's point, it's been interesting to see Salah and his start to this side under Arm, because the runs you'd see him make under Jurgen, maybe when we won the ball back defensively, he was always on his bike trying to get the ball, and the sprint distance, I'd love to see his high intensity distance in a game. I think now it's a little bit more control where he can, keep his sort of energy for when we are controlling it and getting at players. So I think that will suit him now that he is that little bit older, and we're trying to get the stats that we've had over in the past season after season after season. The joy to having your fancy Premier League side that us and all the young folk do have nowadays. So I think he'll be a big miss, but Liverpool at the minute, they're finding their feet in terms of the squad's depth. Everyone's coming in playing well. That's what happens when teams are winning. So
You'll miss him. on you, Martin. You're going to miss. Of course, you're going to miss his contributions. You just said that he's been involved in 65% of the league goals that Liverpool have scored. But it is amazing in football. We've all been there. Like, once your star player might go out the team, others step up. You know, this is the opportunity for others who might not be getting in the team on a regular basis to put down their marker in the side. So they'll be in the positions that and getting the chances, hopefully, that Mo's been getting in games. It's just whether they're good enough to finish it. But I'm really looking forward to seeing who steps up when Mo goes. We know he was going to go. That was always on the cards that he was going to do that. He is going to be a big miss. But there's definitely depth there. Just have a look at the bench, and the other players have got to come back as well. Liverpool in an envious position to a lot of teams in the Premier League with the depth of quality that they've got.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for others at the end of the day, isn't it? OK, after the win over Brighton in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday, what has Arne Slot learnt about his side's ability to fight on all fronts this season? Well, the boss went into detail on just that when he spoke to the media on Friday morning.
I think you learn every day, especially if you are not as long with the team as I am. So then you learn every day from new situations. And I said before, the Chelsea game was something I learned from them, that they could sit deep and defend the lead. The way they came back against Arsenal was really strong, and the amount of games that we have to play, that they are still able to be available and play good football, that is also something you see. And then we also saw during the week that players that haven't played that much maybe have an impact on our team as well, and we will need them during the whole season. So it's good to see that they are already on a level they need to play for us.
Does it feel strange to be playing Brighton again so quickly after just a few days ago? Does that affect your preparation at all in terms of how you look at this game?
No, it's not that strange for us in football, because in the older Champions League or Europa League world, you faced mostly, especially if it went to playoffs, you faced the team after a week again. So in football we are used to playing the same team maybe after a few days. So it's not weird, especially because both teams didn't start with the team they will start with on Saturday, and it's, I think, for the both managers a positive thing, because you know even more about the opponent. Although, like I just said, players make the game, and it's of course a difference if a different player plays. The playing style might be the same, but the qualities of the players make 9 or 10 times the difference. So that changes the game on Saturday, of course, compared to the one on Wednesday.
And in terms of the managers, having seen Hursley and what he's done so far, a lot's been made about the fact that he's so young. Does that make any difference, do you think? Obviously, if you've got experience, it can be a big help, but do you go with the old saying that if you are good enough, you are old enough?
Yeah, I think that is also definitely true with players. Some managers maybe need first 20 years of experience to come to this level. They need this, and some talents. That's also with players the same, and this can be with managers as well. They just have it in their fingers. Is that a saying you have here as well? Probably not. And he's probably one of them, because he's done really well at his former club, and he's done really well till now here in England also. So for him, experience is probably not such a big thing. And maybe I had a bit the same. I think I had 1.5 year experience before I joined Feyenoord. So there are exceptions, but in general I think it's also good to have some experience, but there are exceptions to that rule.
Injuries deprived you of 2 key players in terms of forwards on Wednesday night in Jota and Chiesa. You left Salah and Nunez on the bench. What impressed you most about your front play, given you scored 3 goals, you created a lot of chances, and how can that inform your thinking moving forward maybe?
The good thing was that when you look at our front line, that we could play 2 of our regular starters with Cody Gakpo and Lucio Diaz, and they had a big impact on the score sheet, of course. The way we filled in the number 9 position was interesting to see, because I think it worked out really well. But in the end, I prefer to play with a real number 9. But it is maybe now an extra possibility that we have, if we have injuries. Although maybe with Jota, who's also a bit of a 9.5, we implemented that style already. But to play with Curtis and Dom, those are definitely midfielders. With Diogo is a striker. So it was good to see that we could score 3 goals even without playing with a old-fashioned number 9.
We've seen managers come into the league, come into new big clubs and not put as much emphasis on the cup competitions, focusing on the league. You look like Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, they focus on the league first. How important is the FA Cup and Carabao Cup to you?
If it's the next game, it's a really important one. On Tuesday it was the next game, so it was really important. Yeah, I played both times. I didn't play our starters, so is it then for me not important? No, it's really important for me because I think because we've played so many games, it was a good moment for the other ones to play, because at that moment I felt they were better able to win that game for us than the one that have already played so many games. And now we won it, and you probably tell me, yeah, you put a lot of emphasis on this cup. If we would have lost it, you would have said, yeah, if you miss out on so many started, it's a logical result. We want to win every game. We want to compete for every trophy, especially if it's one we have to defend. So and that is with the Carabao Cup, and the FA Cup is coming in January. So let's think about it then. But people already told me that it is a very important cup to win.
Yeah, on a slot there, speaking ahead of this Premier League game against Brighton at Anfield. It is 12 wins out of 14 games. I mean, he could not have wished for a better start, could he? But in terms of the midweek game, really nice to see a few different names on the team sheet. Tyler Morton getting the start as well.
The manager's got to. You know, when you've got a big squad and there's so many talented players, you've got to give them some minutes on the pitch, because Becky, Martin will tell you, listen, training's one thing, isn't it, Martin? But playing games, there's nothing like it. You can't train at the same level as you play. It's just impossible. So you need to be on the pitch. You need to be out there. You need to get some time into your legs on that green grass out there. And it's important for the fringe players to get their opportunity. And I thought the other evening against Brighton, they done well. I think the lads came in, settled in. You know, Joe and Jared in the centre-back positions didn't look out of place at all. I thought they were good. All right, a couple of little mistakes, but overall the general play was good. You know, and so the manager will be delighted that a lot of the lads came in. Yaros in goal.
I was just going to mention him.
Well,
yeah,
someone
debut.
said we've got the best keeper in the world. We've got the number 2 best keeper in the world. We've now got the number 3 best keeper in the world.
Well.
So we're all right in the goalkeeping department. But overall, I just said to you at the start of the show, Becky, there's a confidence about this Liverpool squad at the moment, but there's a togetherness, and that's not always the case. I mean, you get some lads who are not playing. Behind the scenes, they can feel that they're not part of it. I don't see that with the Liverpool players at the moment. I've just seen this group who are so focused and so believing in what they're doing and what they're trying to achieve this season. It's really good to watch. Unusual, but good to watch.
Yeah, we've mentioned a few names there, but someone else really good to see Conor Bradley back in the fold as well, recovering from injury, because Trent has played a lot of minutes so far, and a timely return for him, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking back at the West Ham game here, a good few weeks ago now, it was a lot of the lads played the other night from that game, so it's good to see that they are getting a chance and getting the games like Ray said, because you can only train so much. You need that gameplay, especially with the tactics that I think Arne's trying to enforce in this Liverpool side. So the likes of Bradley, who's come on in a few games in the Premier League, he'll be looking to try and build on tactically what he needs to do under this new look side, this new Liverpool side. So yeah, I think the lads who came in, the partnership of Jarrell and Gomez was good. Gomez, I thought, had a magnificent game, and if there was an injury with the centre-half situation here, I'd be more than happy seeing him, filling in there as well as Jarrell. So it's good to see that the lads are getting the game and they're winning. They're getting through to the quarters now. You've got Southampton away, another big test. On paper, probably the better one. But going back to when I played, this is when I played in the Carabao Cup for the young lads. We went on to win it in 2012. So it was good for the young lads to get the games when they can in them types of cups.
We're looking at the quarter-final draw there. Obviously, Martin mentioned it is Southampton away for Liverpool, Ray. I mean, in terms of opposition, that's a fairly kind draw. Maybe not for the fans midweek in December, travelling back down to the South Coast after just being down there for Brighton in the previous round.
Well, you don't want anything on paper. You know, when you look on paper, you say, oh, it's probably the best tie that maybe Liverpool could have got. But realistically, Southampton, what are they playing for this season? It looks like they're going to get relegated to me on what I've seen of them so far. I can only go on that. So one of the things they might be looking at is having a good cup run, and they might think Liverpool, if they play a weakened team, as they might have done, or perceived as a weakened team in comparison to the league matches that they've played when they played against West Ham and obviously playing against Brighton. But Liverpool will have to think to themselves that Southampton are going to give it everything they've got to get through to the semi-final. So you've got to be focused for the game. Now, we've got a good run in this competition, haven't we, over the last few years, you know, winning
Certainly
it last season. So I'm sure the manager wants to win a trophy this time around. I thought he spoke very well. We spoke to Jarell Kwanzaa the other evening. He said, look, you know, Jarell's had a tough time, you know, because of what happened at Ipswich, and he's got to bounce back. He bounced back against Brighton. He made a mistake or two. There isn't a player that doesn't make mistakes. You've got to learn from him, and I think that's what the manager said. He was happy with a lot of what he didn't in the match, and that should really give the young man some confidence for the future at Liverpool. Because if we've got any injuries in that position, he's probably going to be the ones you're going to be looking at, and he's got to be ready. When the manager calls, he's got to be ready to step in to the level of performances that you've seen from the others, and what he showed last season, what he can do as well.
OK, thanks both. We will have live audio commentary for you just before kick-off this afternoon. Steve Hunter, as always, guiding you through all the action. Steve, who will you have alongside you up at the commentary booth?
Thank you so much, Becky. Yes, well, former Red Neil Mellor will be with us here on the gantry. 6th floor off the main stand. You get the lift to it on the bottom of the Anfield Road. And the salubrious surroundings entering the gantry here. It's a cracking view, by the way, as well. And great to hear the extra noise, of course, in that Anfield Road stand. Top tier, cheering the Reds on, as always. Well, Brighton have proved a difficult team to beat in recent years to Liverpool. Remember that 3-3 game when Trossard, now at Arsenal, got a hat-trick and Trent hit the bar last minute. But last season, it was a fantastic win over Brighton. It really was a tough game. But Liverpool, you know, we conceded an early goal. We seemed to make a habit of that last season, didn't we? Remember, Bournemouth scored early. Well, they scored early through Danny Welbeck, but then Liverpool responded. Luis Diaz with the equaliser, of course, really good goal. But the second goal was, and the winner was, I have to say, my candidate for pass of the season. Alexis McAllister playing against his former club, a sumptuous through pass, and Mo Salah in on goal. A tremendous finish, it really was, into the back of the net. It was certainly a big contender just for pass of the season contender as far as Liverpool are concerned. McAllister, of course, hoping to do well against his former club here today. Of course, two totally different teams as we expected from the midweek one. But for Liverpool, 3 home games in succession. We're at Anfield. This is our home. We have to be confident. Liverpool against Brighton. Becky, it's all yours.
Oh, we do love some Steve Hunter, don't we? Right, it's time now to leave our viewers on social media. If you are watching this, though, and you are not yet a subscriber to LFC TV, then today seems like a really good day to sign up. All the details are online at liverpoolfc.com/watch. Coming up in the rest of our pre-match show, we will be looking ahead to the game with Alexis McAllister, and Kostas Tsimikas is on the way as well. As mentioned, Neil Mellor will be on the mic alongside Steve Hunter just before kick-off at 3 o'clock. Then after full-time, we are with you until 6 o'clock for all the reaction from today's game against Brighton. That show actually also now available as a podcast later on after the dust has settled. Look out for the reaction podcast show. That should be dropping at a few hours after full-time here at Anfield. And we'll have the full match replayed on LFC TV from 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. And as ever, our exclusive behind-the-scenes footage when Inside Anfield lands on our Facebook and YouTube pages on Monday. So plenty still to come on today's Matchday Live. Then after the break, we are continuing our build-up to Liverpool against Brighton, and we will focus on the visitors in just a few minutes' time. Back in a couple of minutes.